on the 21st of September 2023. I'm Councillor Liz Burnett, and I'm chair of this meeting as the leader of the Vale of Glamorgan Council and Cabinet Member for Performance and Resources. If I could just remind everyone present that the meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and that the recording will be archived for future viewing. All participants should mute themselves when not speaking in order to avoid any background noise or feedback. But if anyone wishes to speak, it should either be raising a hand if on screen, or using the digital hands up function. The chat function should only be used to highlight any technical issues and or to attract the attention either of the Democratic Services Officer or myself. A short agenda today, so we can start with agenda item 1, which is apologies for absence. And as I can see everybody on screen, take it we don't have anyone, and we don't have anybody with pressing engagements having to leave or anything. On to agenda item 2 is the minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of September 2023. And can I take those as a true reflection of the meeting?
And I'll second those for the minutes.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is any declarations of interest, and if so, the nature of such interest. I haven't been informed of any. Are there any today? No. So we're through that as well. And then straight on to the substance of the meeting, and that is the use of the Chief Executive's emergency powers. And as I always say with this, you know, this is mainly a housekeeping report, which basically lays out where emergency powers have been used, either to do things like moving on contracts or accepting funds, that sort of thing. A whole range of different areas, from what's called a Brilliant Basics Fund, where we've been successful in having funding before in our country parts. That's to do with St Donat's and empty homes, etc., and a number of them. Gwyn, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, yes, Leader. I just wanted to say I was delighted to get emergency powers passed in this agenda, because it allowed us to get the contents of the report in place for the official opening on the 30th of August. It was an exceptionally good day. We were absolutely delighted with the response from the public, and we certainly are looking forward to working with the management committee, Big Fresh Catering, to develop this centre in the very future. It was extremely successful, and I would like to say that a further report will follow to the Scrutiny Committee, healthy living and social care in the future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gwyn. Yes, I actually was at Bellevue for the whole of the time on the day it opened. My abiding memory was little tots having sword fights with balloon swords. I thought it was absolutely super to see that, and I think at the last count, the trays of Welsh cakes and shortbread had been refilled about 3 times. So it was a very, very busy day, very, very popular day. And when I was talking to some members of the Bowls Club, we were talking about the end of floor heating. And I said, well, when I was at a Ddraig Primary in Llantwit a couple of years ago, and they'd had underfloor heating, and the children were lying all over the floor to do the work because it was so comfortable. So I said, I expect to see you in here sort of lying on the floor, catching up and with only your slippers on. But we'll wait and see on that one. But no, absolutely super new facility, and I get to see a couple more new facilities this week as well. So over to you, Rhiannon.
Thank you. There's a couple of points I wanted to raise. First of all, it's 2.1 paragraph E, which is the Ysgol Dairy expansion project, and to say how pleased I am at the progress that's being made with this. Slightly tangentially, Jeremy Miles came out to the Vale last week. in order to see Aderw Newydd, which is the replacement for Amelia Farm, and obviously under the aegis of Ysgol Derry, and was saying how pleased he would be to come out and see when we started work on the Ysgol Derry expansion project, looking in the ground was how he put it. So that's very gratifying. And also I'd like to draw people's attention to paragraph L, which is summer holidays free school meal support. And I think for those people who are not aware, this is something really important. You know, we were in difficulties with the funds from the Welsh Assembly for various political reasons, not ours. And so we were able to cobble together enough money to offer families this support. And I think that that's very important going forward. I mean, there are obviously local authorities all over the country that were attempting to do something for these families in need. And I'm very pleased that we were able to do this.
Yeah.
Super, thank you. And Mark, you wanted to come in.
Yes, please. Basically on item N, on the increased capital budget for the Eastern Shelter Refurbishment Scheme, you know, we're very proactive in identifying issues with things like concrete in the Vale Council, in the Vale area. And this is a good example of this. And I'm really pleased that we delivered this project now. And it shows our continued investment in the island, and along with our other results, including Penarth and the Esplanade.
Super. So yes, it's good to see the shelter back to its former glory. So we've only got one recommendation before us today on this, and that's that the use of the Chief Executive's emergency powers be noted, and I therefore move.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Everybody's been nodding, so that's fine. And then on to agenda item 5, and this is over to Eddie for the annual report of the Director of Social Services 2022-2023. And over to you, Eddie.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, this report is an extensive report, and no doubt I won't be able to give it justice, but certainly I can encourage members who've already seen it through the scrutiny committees, but the public to have a look at some of the context and also the challenges, and also the plan for the next 4 years, which this report by the Director of Social Services is for. It's a challenge version, and it's been, as I said, was considered by Healthy Living and Social Care Scrutiny Committee in July, and the committee members provided positive feedback. A finalised version following feedback from partners has been presented to Cabinet for approval, and the report contained a number of priorities which the Director of Social Services and Social Services Senior Management Team has determined, and these have been set out in the context of significant increases in demand, and the Cabinet is asked to agree these improvement priorities. You can see the background here is statutory duty is required to produce this report. It's an annual report on the effectiveness of social care services in the Vale of Glamorgan and on our plans of improvement. It gives the Director an opportunity to provide people in the Vale with a rounder picture of social services based on evidence drawn from a wide range of sources, such as what users and carers say, performance indicators and measurements of progress against the overall goals of the Council. The report is written for a wide range of people, including service users and carers, but also elected members, Council's own staff, and a range of partners and providers that help us deliver our services. It is used by Care Inspector of Wales as evidence and to guide their inspection programme in the Vale of Glamorgan. I just need to emphasise the fact that it's such a broad interest in and need for this report that, as I said, it's mentioned. We mentioned members, mentioned users. The report's written in such a way that I think it's an easy read. It's easy to understand. You can look at the different separate departments in social services, such as children, young people services, the adults, and also the resource management and safeguarding side. And underneath each of the specific department sections and you know, the report goes into detail of all the services that it provides, so I'd really like to add that. Also, that when we talk about partners, we're talking about third sector, talking about local authorities. We're in collaboration with Cardiff Council, and also the health boards. And as I said, the third sector, we've got quite a few organisations there, and they've all had a chance to have a look at this report. And in essence, you know, that plan for the next 4 years has been agreed, and they've commented on this report as well. So it's not just a single, although it's important for the council because we're the ones that are going to look after what we're going to achieve in the next 4 years. It's important that we can do that with our partners, because it's clear that we can't do everything, and there's a recognition that each of us have got our own strengths. We're dealing with the same people, you know, our service residents and service users, and those responsibilities overlap. So it's important that we recognise that it's, the plans that we put in place, we're all agreed that goes forward, and that's certainly what's happened to this report. And the report also reflects on progress over the last financial year. And we had the Care Inspector Wales report at the beginning of the year, and that was mainly positive, well, predominantly positive. I know some members don't feel that we're doing enough, but that's, if I'm being frank, then there's a recognition. For example, in children's services, we've got a 30% increase in the number of children, young people that we're dealing with, without the increase in staff. So that's credit to the staff who are doing that. And likewise with adult services, there was a programme on the TV about people having difficulty coming out of hospitals. Well, that was at the beginning of the year, and you know, give credit to the Vale Council. They've managed to contribute to ensuring that we've reduced the delays on that, and also the assessments that people need to go into their own homes. So that's a real positive that I think that's come forward. And as it went to the scrutiny committee, they actually provided helpful comments, which have been included in this version. So the actual report itself, as I said, you can go through the pages. I just wanted to highlight the context. It is a challenging context. You know, we know that we're going to go into the budget setting process in the coming months. I just want people to recognise that there is a limit to the budget, the funding, and it is going to be some difficult decisions being made. And this report, in spite of that, shows that we've got a positive outlook, and you know, we'll do what we can, and we're looking to see what changes we can make. And I just need to point out that those challenges that we're feeling here within the Vale across Wales, and it's those difficulties, for example, in domiciliary care. You know, we're doing what we can with those, and also the staffing has always been a challenge, particularly in the context of recently when COVID, which this report refers to. We've made some moves with that. It seems to have improved. We don't have the shortfall in staff as many other places, and this, so that I'm positive in that respect as well. I do recognise that the Welsh Government have got some challenges in their funding, and so that's going to impact on ours. But again, it's a recognition that the demand is beyond what we're currently funded for. So again, we're just going to have to look at some changes that we can bring. And this report goes into the various areas that's basically how we shape our services and how we can provide for that. So without going on any further, because I know that, you know, there aren't any other items on the agenda, I could spend the rest of the afternoon doing that, so I don't think that'd be appropriate. I would encourage the public to take time to read the report and just see how we're going with those. So the recommendations in this report is that the Cabinet considers the content of this report. Number 2, the Cabinet approves the Director's Annual Report for 22-23, which is in Appendix 1. That the Cabinet agrees the improvement priorities for social services are set out in the Director's Annual Report for 22-23. I so move, Leader.
Thank you, Eddie. And before I second, so I don't know if anyone else will be wanting to. I think we've got Rhiannon and then Mark. No, Rhiannon with her hand up.
Thank you. I just wanted to agree with Eddie, because I know that there has been, you know, a significant increase in the number of children presenting with anxiety, stress, other mental health problems as a result of the pandemic and the lack of socialisation and, you know, social contact with other children, which obviously has taken place at, you know, really important stages in their development. And that has obviously had a knock-on effect on social services. I mean, and I'm only talking about children between the ages of 3 and 19, and the rest of the population has to be taken into account as well. So I would like to reiterate the importance of this report in addressing those problems.
Thanks, Rhiannon. I think, you know, when you look at it, this has got such a wide range of responsibility, caring for so many vulnerable people, and obviously, Rhiannon, you've got experience of that in terms of your education portfolio, and actually in October I've got a shift in a care home booked, so I hope to see and understand the challenges, but also see the amazing work that is done in our care homes at first hand. So I shall report back there. I have my trusty food hygiene certificate and my enhanced DBS, so off I shall toddle. So no, I'm delighted to second that, Eddie, and from everybody else, I think that yes, everyone's in agreement, so thanks for that. I don't have any items that are urgent. I don't have any part 2 items that are urgent. So all that's left me is to thank you for your attendance today, and hopefully see you all